Hello everybody, SlimKirby here, and welcome back to the Animal Crossing Let's Play. You are currently watching the abridged portion of this playthrough, where I cut out all the fluff and simply talk about my adventures of playing through an entire year of Animal Crossing in a summary format. If you'd rather watch the playthrough in its entirety, check out the video description for a link to a playlist that has all the episodes and stream sessions I've done, raw and unedited. But if you'd rather stick around for these videos, well, just sit back and enjoy my adventures through Popstar. April is done, which means we are moving on to the month of May. We only have this month, June, and a few days in July left before we are done with this project. And with day 300 being in just a few days, I can't help but feel like the light will surely be shining through the closing stretch of this tunnel. Once again, no major goals for May, just more of the same as we keep trying to clear out that catalog and hopefully get that last painting too. Surely we can get it at some point before the end of this Let's Play series. Thursday, May 1st. Well, I guess Justin Timberlake was right. It was gonna be May. So let's continue on and see what this new month brings us. And like the last month, we have another holiday on the very first day, because it's time for Spring Cleaning Day. Now, I don't know if this is necessarily based on any actual real-time holiday, rather just something people tend to do during spring, but it's this game's excuse for giving out the dump model, the model based off of the junkyard you have in your town. They had to offer it sometime, I guess. Once again, it's another Talk to Tortimer holiday, so once you do that, consider your obligation over. That's not the only thing going on in town though, because for the next couple of days, you'll also see some windsocks active around town as well. These are purely just for decoration though, and you can't really interact with them. Purely just a cosmetic feature of this time of the year. Aside from that though, I wouldn't say anything major was going on today. I did get a response from the tumbleweed letter I sent to Caesar the other day, and he responded by almost kind of insulting his own intelligence, which I guess I would expect nothing less from him, if I'm being honest. Gulliver also showed up today, but once again, we got nothing new from him. I swear, someday we'll get that tiger bobblehead. And yes, that's actually an item you can get from him. Since the raffle was a bust yesterday, I took my chances with a random number generator and pulled one of the remaining NES games we haven't obtained yet. And today, we landed on Punch-Out! Now, in this version of Animal Crossing, and when I say this version, I mean the American GameCube version, you can only get this via secret code. I think in older editions of the game it could be a crazy red item, but in this instance, a secret code is the only way to get this. Punch-Out! Is honestly a really solid addition though. I wouldn't say it's something that I would be too crazy about since I'm not big into fighting games, but unlike your more 2D fighters like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, Punch-Out! Is structured more like a pattern-based fighting game, where it's less about performing moves and combos, and more about reading your opponent and responding accordingly, which does give this a bit more accessibility, I think. I ended up beating the minor circuits, so I showed that I'm not completely useless when it comes to this game or series, but it's definitely not my game of choice. Unlike my buddy Odinspec, beating up Mike Tyson is not something I see being on my video game resume. Still though, really based inclusion for this game. I just wish it wasn't just a secret code item. I had a whisk night tonight as well, and ended up with another item of red stock, but it wasn't the flowery painting unfortunately, rather a dice stereo. Hey, beats another gyroid though, right? Also, the person Wisp was trying to escape from tonight was someone named Professor Plasma, and for some reason I found this hilarious. Just sounds like one of those very generic cartoon villains who isn't as threatening as they think they are. For some reason though, since I was the only one who found this funny, I kept memeing about this, trying to make it a bit of some kind.
Wait a minute. SlimKirby? I'm not SlimKirby. I'm Professor Plasma. You're tired? How can you be tired with Professor Plasma? Everyone is like falling asleep outside. Of course they fell asleep outside. I used my sleeping ray. Pretty pleased with Plasma on top. Shut up. You're not becoming a bit.
I think all I did was kill off more brain cells, mostly my own. Friday, May 2nd. It was a very quick and blah day today, where the highlights consisted of finding a new gyroid and item coding the Kiwi shirt, which, gotta say, the Kiwi shirt does look nice. Definitely another highlight of the Gracie catalog for sure. But yeah, that was about it. I'm starting to plan around the idea of going back to Pieces soon, just hesitant for two reasons. One, obviously I don't want to lose anybody important, and two, a trip to Pieces would pretty much lock Pippy in for a while, and I'm not 100% sure how I feel about her yet, so no hesitations are keeping me from acting on it right now. Definitely want to try and do it sometime in May though, at least. Saturday, May 3rd. There was a little more going on today, but probably because it was Saturday, and we all know what happens on Saturday. Nook did have a sale, but it was lame. Go figure. I did use an item code for one of the pinwheels though, which, believe it or not, does count for the catalog under the handheld items section, which basically features all the tools, golden tools, umbrellas, balloons, pinwheels, and another item we'll see later, the fans, which are kind of part of the 4th of July holiday. Considering these items are dependent on when their respective events happen though, I don't think there is anything wrong with starting to accumulate them, at least right now. And while I was at the shop, I also checked the turnip prices since I did buy them this week, and the price never really got better. In fact, I think it only got worse and worse each day, so I ended up selling my stock for only 30 bells per turnip. A definite loss in the hole, but better than getting absolutely nothing. For the rest of the day, I just kind of wandered around doing favors, often forgetting which favors I had active and who needed or had what item. I think it got to a point I was just going up to random villagers and shouting at them to see if they needed a bug or something, since one of the villagers did ask for a bug. Carmen did ask me for a letter today, and I wrote something a bit silly and nonsensical, but I think I got my point across at least. Also, someone in chat asked me where babies come from, so I thought it was time that we all finally had the talk.
Here I was gonna go with the classic scenario of, you know, when a mommy and a daddy love each other very much, they huddle up very close together, they make a very important phone call to the stork, and then, well, you know, they tell the stork, you know, we want to have a baby. We've talked about it a lot. You know, we want to advance, you know, our family to the next level. We want to have someone to continue the family line, so to speak. So, you know, they have a very long, you know, conversation. They talk about all the, you know, the important duties that will, you know, arrive from such, you know, such an important development, basically. And, you know, after the stork, you know, says his very important piece, you know, they both parties, they hang up the phone, then the mommy and daddy go have sex, and then 9 months later, you're born. There you go.
For the music tonight, I was actually kind of proud of this one, mainly because it wasn't me just defaulting to video game music again. So, name that tune. And make sure your hula dancing is ready for this next one, because KK Slider gave us a treat of some Aloha KK tonight. Sunday, May 4th. I can summarize this entire day in 2 words. Diver Dan. Diver Dan just so happens to be one of the island exclusive items that I decided to item code today. And I have no idea why, but this furniture item just hit me right in the funny bone for some reason.
Oh, man. I mean, I should have expected that's what this was, but
I don't know, there's just something hilarious about a guy in a diving suit being a furniture item. I get that it's supposed to be the ocean equivalent of Spaceman Sam, a similar item I have upstairs, but I don't know. Just the appearance of this one really got to me. That's seriously about all that happened today, and the next 2 days are probably going to follow suit, so be prepared for that. Oh, also, may the 4th be with you, blah 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 Star Wars. Monday, May 5th. This should be the last day the Windsocks will be appearing in town, so enjoy them while they last, I guess. Like I said yesterday though, not a lot to report here. Right now, I'm really on the fence about what to do with Pippy. I'm not at all vibing with her, yet at the same time, I'm getting a sense that I should head to Pieces. But if I head to Pieces, I feel like I'll end up losing someone who isn't Pippy, so I spent a lot of these days trying to make up my mind. If I want to keep the general move-out schedule I'm on, I'll need to make a decision on the 9th at the latest, because then I might risk 2 people moving out so close to each other. Otherwise, I'd have to wait until the 19th for the next Pieces visit. Yep, this is quite the conundrum, huh? I also wrote Lily a letter thanking her for staying in town with me for almost 300 days. I can't believe she's hung on this long, and I'm really hoping she can make it until the very end, just so I can say my bestie has been with me since the very beginning until the very end. We'll see what happens though, as she still has to make it through roughly 6 more move-outs. Tuesday, May 6th. I swear, these last few days really bled together, but happy 300 days, everyone. Or is this the 301st? I don't know. Just follow whatever the counter at the top says. Anyway, we get a notice on the bulletin board that we have a lot of sunny days ahead of us, along with some seasonal rains by the end of June. I think that's the sign that summer will be upon us very, very soon. I spent today just doing a typical neighbor day, and I think I finally came to a decision that I will give Pippy a chance after all. Only because I will be preparing a concert in Pieces again, which means I will have needed to play a little more of the Pieces town regardless, and since I would be essentially getting that town ready, may as well take the trip if I'm going through that amount of preparation anyway. Plus, stream viewer Driflooney was really passionate about me giving her a chance anyway, and after the kindness of her making me some Twitch emotes, and just being super supportive of this project in general, I felt like it was only fair to hear her out. It's just really hard because not only did we lose Tangy, a villager I was really excited about for Pippy, but Tangy was already a replacement for Penny, who was a very long-term Popstar resident to begin with, so Pippy already had some gigantic shoes to fill. But that wasn't exactly her fault either, so I definitely get it. We will see if things improve with her moving forward though, so welcome aboard, Pippy. There were also some pretty funny letter shenanigans today too. I decided to write a letter to the museum and tell them how cool they were, not to mention how lucky their boyfriend was to have someone like them in their life. Okay, this letter was actually meant for Carmen, not the museum, but I think it would have been pretty funny if I didn't ultimately change the address label. I got a letter back from Matilda, who talked about Vlad's bean burritos being completely stuffed, which I think that's the point of a burrito? Or maybe she was saying that she was stuffed, but again, I feel like bean burritos would do that to you. Either way, it was a really random letter. I also got a letter back from Lily as well, and this one kind of spooked me because she called me Slim the Third. And this was creepy because in real life, I am actually the third, as both my father and grandfather have the same first name. How the hell did she know that? Seriously. Ugh, man. I also did Wisp tonight, but big surprise, another gyroid. Wednesday, May 7th. I started this day with another concert in Pieces, still trying to get as much KK music as possible so I can clear that section of the catalog. This time we listened to KK Tango, so I hope you guys enjoy not only this performance, but also a couple of other performances we'll have this week as well. Back in Popstar, it was a very quick and rainy day. I visited Gulliver at the beach and once again got another duplicate item, but I made use of the item when I sent it to Biscuit in my letter today. Although I probably should have been a little more descriptive in how I got the item, because without context the scenario probably seems a little more incriminating for me by just saying I jacked an item from a bird that wasn't moving on the beach. Oh well, Biscuit doesn't need to know those details. Thursday, May 8th. Another quick one, but I had plans to go to Pieces tomorrow, so at least something interesting will be happening in the very near future. The only thing worth mentioning today was that I used an item code for a wave breaker, one of the exclusive island items, and after putting it in my house, I have no idea what the hell that's supposed to be. I sent it to Dina as a gift because I seriously couldn't figure it out. I looked online after the fact and found out that apparently they are rock structures used to limit or break the impact of waves on shorelines so they don't get battered or damaged by waves the entire day. Which, hey, I guess that makes sense. Still a very weird item in an Animal Crossing game. I also got another gyroid checked off of my list too, so hooray for that. Friday, May 9th. Well, I think it's finally time we head back to Pieces. People keep asking me to give a forgotten item back to Curly, and I'm tired of hearing about it, so let's get it done. Before I go to Pieces, though, I take some fruit along with me. After all, John only has the novelty of eating peaches in his town, and he could probably do with some other sustenance. On the way to Pieces, though, I got surprised on the train car, not by another visit from Rover, but a mysterious feline named Blanca, who is, in most basic terms, missing a face. The chances you run into Blanca are lower than Rover, so this is not by any means a common occurrence, but if you keep taking frequent visits to other towns, you'll likely run into her. She asks you if you can draw a face for her so she doesn't look ridiculous, so I did the only logical thing and made her face Sans from Undertale. I mean, really, was there any other way to go with this? Now, unfortunately, this will be the last time we see Blanca from Slim's perspective in this playthrough, but whoever lives in the town you are visiting when this occurrence happens, they have a chance to run into her on a day after the visit, so tell them to keep their eyes out. Thankfully, off-stream, this did happen, and I did manage to get it recorded to showcase it to you guys, but you don't really get anything or get to do anything with this, really just some flavor text. When we actually get to Pieces, though, I just spent a little bit of time visiting some old friends of ours, namely Portia and Curly, and of course I give Curly the item that he left behind. Strangely enough, though, another familiar face was camping out at Pieces during this time, and it was actually our former neighbor Barbara, who doesn't really seem to remember me. Although she was only in Popstar for 10 days, so that probably explains it. She does want to take a trip to Mount Pieces, though, which, I don't know about you guys, but that sounds like a pretty base place to me. The thing that really dumbfounded me about this trip, though, is that when I was talking to Admiral, one of the main Pieces residents, he actually offered me an orange. That's right, an actual orange, the fruit I had to item code because none of my villagers were giving me one. I mean, I guess it's nice knowing that I got one legitimately, or would have gotten one at least, but still, did it have to be 3 months after the fact? Oh well. I didn't leave Pieces completely empty-handed, though, as John had obtained a few gyroids that were actually not in my catalog yet, so he left them for me, wink wink. Also, both Wendell and KK Slider were here during my visit, so I took advantage of their presence as well. Wendell didn't give me anything new, but for KK Slider, we at least got to have a small concert featuring some KK Fusion. After the concert, we went back home to get the unavoidable news of who our next move-out was going to be. And let's just say that the Popstar outhouse was finally deconstructed because Billy and his 5 toilets have decided to depart for Pieces. Overall, I did like Billy, and it was kind of a shame that he left so soon. But hey, at least he's not gonna be gone, just gone from Popstar. Happy trails, you athletic grandpa. We also met our newest neighbor, another bear, in the form of Poncho, which I think is bear number 6 now? Hey, it's pretty cool that we've at least had a bear of each personality type, I will say that much. Anyway, Poncho lives next to Bill, who is also a jock, so I think this will actually be a solid partnership for them. That, or they will keep competing against each other until their acre becomes a smoldering wreckage. I guess only time will tell. I didn't do too much once I was back at Popstar, though. Just messed around with a few letters, and I even wrote a letter to Poncho already, too, since he gave me some good initial vibes already, so I think he's a keeper. Saturday, May 10th. Not a lot going on during this rainy Saturday night, but both Bill and Poncho seem to be hitting it off pretty well so far, as they were both playing in the rain at the town fountain. It was kinda cute actually, and I'm happy for them. Maybe this will continue to keep Bill away from the cans of paint that he keeps using on my roof of my house. I also wrote Bill a meme letter because why not? Moving on to the music, this is what I used for my town tune this week. Name that tune. Yeah, I could not use that after what happened yesterday, let's be real. Also, for the third time this week, we had another KK Slider concert. This time with some smooth KK jazz. You like jazz? Well, you better, because that's what we're listening to tonight. Sunday, May 11th. This Sunday goes out to all the moms out there because the second Sunday in May is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. We do get a nice letter from our mom today as well, where she lets us know exactly what she wants for this grandest of holidays. Oh, she wants flowers, not worms? Damn, there goes my idea for the lovely bouquet of worms I was going to send her. Oh well, maybe next year. Now, Mom doesn't give us anything in particular for this day, but the mayor of town certainly does, as our event item for today is the lovely phone. Now, this item is interesting for two reasons. It is actually considered part of the lovely furniture series, and from my recollection, it's the only special item that exists that's an event item while also being part of a standard series. So if you want to complete this series, you'll have to go through Mother's Day. I'm not entirely sure how HRA factors into this for points though, as the lovely series is admittedly not a series I've ever personally wanted for myself. Second, you can actually interact with this item too, and it acts kind of like a psychic call service hotline or something. And I think it's implied that this is how you can have some sort of interaction with your mother as well. It's probably the most direct way you have to interact with your parents in this game. Again, not that it really does much or means much in the grand scheme of things, but it's there, I suppose. That's really about all there is for this day though, as I pretty much ignored everything else, including buying turnips. Also, I did find another gyroid, and I think I calculated that I was under 30 remaining now. And I even saw Wisp tonight too, but he actually didn't give a gyroid for a change, and instead got us the Groovy shirt from Gracie's collection, which was quite groovy. I mean, it looks like the 1960s threw up all over my clothes, and that's supposed to be groovy, right? Monday, May 12th. My notes didn't have anything written down for this day, so improv time, I guess. Or, not really improv, more just me rewatching the stream and trying to find something to talk about for this day. I guess I'll talk about general catalog progress then, since I mentioned we were down to less than 30 gyroids in the last entry. As far as the other catalogs we still have left to complete, we still have one wallpaper we need to get from Wendell, about 7 Gracie outfits for the clothing section, an entire collection of handheld tool items, which will be covered later during the 4th of July, a little less than 10 KK songs, and still got quite a bit of furniture left to obtain, most of which will probably be item coded. I think it's pretty realistic that we can complete everything but gyroids in the time remaining in this playthrough, so that's pretty cool. Basically means that if I had done things a little bit differently, maybe if I went out of my way to introduce Wisps sooner, or even started doing the item codes sooner, getting and showcasing every item could have been doable. Again, considering if my luck with gyroids was a little better throughout. Oh well, as I stated before, 100%ing the catalog was never a goal of mine, just something fun to do alongside this endeavor, and trust me, with how many days of little substance there have been, I'm glad that it at least gave me something else to focus on. Otherwise, I would have been bored out of my mind. But yeah, not much else really happened today. I did spend a little bit of time with Poncho, and am definitely enjoying his presence. From his catchphrase, Lil Bear, we gather that he used to watch the show Little Bear, a kid's cartoon show that I watched when I was much younger. He also thought Gracie's name was Grape Juice or something, which I did find some humor with. Also, we noticed how beautiful Cookie's eyes look today as well, or at least when she has a normal expression. When she has the angry expression, they can be kinda creepy, I guess. I also sent her a letter telling her how beautiful her eyes are, continuing to push out that classic SlimKirby charm. I know, I'm irresistibly charming. You don't have to tell me twice. Tuesday, May 13th. Once again, didn't have much planned today, so I took another neighbor day. And since it's been a few months, we could probably do another neighbor recap, but I'll try to keep all of my assessments brief into one statement, just to try something different, and so I'm not also spanning 3 different days with this stuff. I'll also try to order them all in terms of my general preferences at this point, but keep in mind some of the middle rankings could be quite interchangeable. Lily, bestie who can do no wrong. Cookie, bae who can also do no wrong, although not as much as Lily. Biscuit, completely wholesome and silly, as well as yummy and delicious. The second part may be in reference to those biscuits, though. Bill, still one of my main men in town, even despite some complicated back and forth from time to time. Still a solid dude, I think. Freya, really coming to her own despite her snootiness, as well as Ringer's Bay. Maddie, really good friend who's been here a very long time. She has an awkward crush on me, but she at least has a heart of gold. Vladimir, nudist bear who somehow isn't as bad as the Vlad I've had in the past. He's been cool, albeit very, very naked. Dina, old school igloo buddy from Winter, appreciate her being here despite not really having a lot of inside jokes or memes. Poncho, still the new guy in town, but giving some good impressions so far, definitely keeping him for a bit. Sally, love the energy, don't really have any issues with her, she's fine. Carmen, same as above, minus the energy and enthusiasm, she's fine. Matilda, same as above, she's fine, although she does make me miss Mama V a lot more. Jeremiah, incredibly neutral with him, honestly. Hasn't really done much of anything, just kinda there. Pippy, kind of still here by circumstance of visiting Pieces last week. Wasn't really wanting to keep her that much, and still hasn't really done much to convince me to want to keep her longer, if I'm being honest. Caesar, seriously, how the hell is he still here? At least we have an easy pitfall target every time we get one, I guess. So yeah, that's the current analysis. You could practically divide these rankings up into groups of 3, where top 3 would be the ones I'd have a breakdown if they moved, next 3 I would be sad if they moved, then 3 that I would be disappointed if they would move, then 3 that I would turn my head if they left, and then finally the 3 that I wouldn't be disappointed because they pretty much ran their course, or in Caesar's case, stayed longer than desired. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I didn't do much beyond talking to everybody. I also mailed Poncho another letter. Even though I already sent him something this cycle, I wasn't sure if maybe the first letter was too soon, so I figured another one would keep me on the safe side. I gave him a piece of furniture from the boxing theme, figuring an athlete like him would want to build a training gym inside of his house. You know, typical jock mindset, I guess you could say. That will do it for another Animal Crossing episode. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Reminder that you can find links in the video description for the unedited recording sessions of this playthrough, as well as individual links to the streams in particular that featured the days covered in this episode summary. Until we meet again, this has been SlimKirby, and I'll see you guys next time. Later, folks.